Good evening, everyone. Uh, we today, Society for Empowerment, we have a webinar on environment and heritage. Our cultural heritage is so rich that our religion reflects how we save our environment. It has been seen depicted in each and every culture, each and every religion, and through various practices and religion customs, what we follow, we try to save our mother nature. So today we have eminent speakers with us. We start with the chairperson, Dr. Narayan. We have Dr. Shashikala Bhosle and Mr. N. Pandey. So, Chairman, sir, we like to request you to start with the session, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much,
Welcome, sir.
Sharmishta.
Yes, sir.
Today's webinar is on environment and heritage, as you said. Society for Empowerment is organizing webinar, national and international, both for last 2 years, for more than that, on different issues which concerns us most, which concerns the society most, and which concerns the academicians and intellectuals, the policy makers most. So we take up that. Today we have decided to have a webinar on environment and heritage because it is a very eminent these days, and it's a great a problem for the world itself, how to make our heritage, rich heritage, environment friendly. Our heritage are very, very rich, but sometimes some centers of the heritage are polluted. They get polluted, and they get when they get polluted by visiting the higher number of visitors, pilgrims, and also when they start touching those heritage sites. So there are some notice board uh, where it is displayed that don't touch, see from distance. But even then people touch, and then they take photographs. Taking of photographs also creates some sort of problem, some sort of pollution for those sites. So this is equally important that we must consider that our environment and heritage go hand to hand, and no problem should be there because if the problem is there, if the pollution is there, then we may not be able to preserve our heritage for a longer period. The our Vedas, Purans, and other such scriptures, religious scriptures, that very clearly mentions that when you visit, you, you must not touch such idols, such idols of God or goddesses, which are the heritage site. Say if you visit a temple which is of heritage importance, very old, and which has a long myth, mythology associated with those temples and with the idols which are kept in those temples. Then we have to be very careful because it's Gandhiji has said at one point of time that we must be very careful that what we are going to teach our future generation. What we are seeing today as a heritage site, or what we talk of environment, is what that has been given to us by our ancestors, by our earlier generation. So we must preserve and promote such things so that the coming generation may also use it. Otherwise, the coming generation may say that what you transferred to us, what kind of a culture or what kind of heritage or heritage site you have given to us. So that should not occur globally, whether it is Christianity or Islam or Sikhism. It is relevant for all because environment is for all. It's not for one heritage center or for more than one heritage center, but it is applicable to each and every heritage site. And environment and heritage they are interdependent because if we do not take care of environment, then heritage will go. We do not if we make pollution at the heritage site, then environment will go. So we have to be very judicious in visiting, in seeing, in using the heritage, our heritage, because heritage is as such. We cannot use it very leisurely or in a very say um, we have to be very uh, academically sound about the place where we are visiting, the site which we are visiting, the heritage site, and we should take care of the environment of that place, that site, that so that the heritage site should not be polluted and the people who are visiting heritage site they should also be not allowed to suffer from such pollution. So this is very important that heritage environment is equally important, very important for heritage, and so is the case with the heritage is also important for the environment. But we must have a guideline for each heritage site that how much environment is affected by visiting if the number of visitors are more than 50,000 or 60,000 then what we should do. I remember in my childhood when we were visiting the Taj Mahal, then we were allowed to go up to the top of the roof of that Taj Mahal. But today, when you are visiting, then you are not allowed to see all those things because that the by higher number of visitors, some spots and some kind of ecological change and ecological imbalance happens. So that creates a problem. So we have the archaeological department or the department which is looking after the heritage is the tourism department. They, they need to be very careful in giving in putting all those things on notice board, which is absent these days. Somewhere which is very important and of global nature, there you can find some sort of notice, but generally in other places where which is not where the visitors, foreign visitors are very little, then there you may not find such display of such notices on that campus. But it should be whether it's the campus is small or a big, such notices be displayed so that each visitor should be careful in using, in seeing, in visiting the heritage site. The heritage site may be of different type. The typology of, if you look at the typology of the heritage site, then we find you can classify it from religious point of view. You may classify it from the tourist point of view. You may classify it from archaeological point of view or from the artistic point of view that you can understand that in which period it was constructed or made and how it is preserved and what does from a particular section we can say that it reflects to the culture gets reflected through a heritage site through a particular heritage uh, place. So the whole culture we can understand by seeing a heritage site that in the period when the site was made or when the site was the heritage site was known to the people to the world that this is this has happened here, so that's why it is a site of heritage. So that is equally important. And there are some institutions which are giving degree and diploma also for this heritage site. Our Society for Empowerment is also giving certificate course and diploma course for this heritage on heritage and culture, heritage and responsibility of a citizen. These such courses we are also running. So if anybody is interested, we can get in touch with the Society for Empowerment for such courses. Um, and I think that there should be a degree course in international institutions, and also the post graduation course, postgraduate courses, as well as the undergraduate courses, so that the heritage and culture or the heritage and environment can be well explained to an individual belonging to a particular culture and can understand the importance of that culture. So this is all about the heritage and culture which we are discussing today. We have two scholars. One is Dr. Bhoshale and the other is Sri N.N. Pandey, former IAS, and he is equally interested in research of the field on these subjects. So I would like to request Sri N.N. Pandey to make his presentation. With, so with these words, I also welcome you, Sri Anil Pandey. I welcome you to this webinar of the Society for Empowerment, which we are organizing for more than 2 years, more than 2 years, and we are very happy that you are taking keen interest in our program and you are also encouraging us to do it. But it seems from your photo that you are traveling. You are traveling.
Yes.
You are in a car also. It's just
So, sir has requested that he'll be reaching home shortly and then he'll be starting with the program. He's a
I,
part of our program right now. Till the time being, we can request Dr. Bhosle ma'am to give a presentation, sir.
okay, okay.
Yes,
So,
Ma'am.
Dr. Bhosle, please.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uh, Thank you, Sharmishta. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. And I bring regards from Gwalior. And then Pandey, sir, good evening. And sir is Dr. Sir has always been there with me. And it's long time. And Sharmishta, you've given me this
Yes.
chance. And the topic today is the environment and heritage. As sir has rightly said, the environment is our lifeline. We breathe in pure environment. And if it is pure, then everything, our health, our surroundings, are every day we get a bonus of fresh air. But pollution has taken its toll, not only on our health and also on the air quality, water, and so the quality has deteriorated, and also it has scarred our monuments, our culture. So heritage needs to be conserved. We must join hands to do that because it is a noble work. We have to conserve the Mother Earth. All historical buildings must sustain the environmental changes. Conserving, interpreting, and celebrating heritage leads to a better understanding of history and respect for the experiences of the diverse communities. Heritage identification, management, and interpretation are definitely required. But heritage places can be experienced by our current generation, by our future generations. So even they need to see what heritage we are carrying, and we have such a rich heritage. So it has to be protected for its social, aesthetic, economic, and historic and environmental values. So the environmental heritage can be defined as places, buildings, works, relics, movable objects, and presence of state or local heritage of significance. So it includes the natural and built heritage. We have so much of natural beauty, and we have so much of all these kings and emperors have given us so much those images of buildings just standing tall
चलो तो
still,
अच्छा आ गए
aboriginal places and objects. Each has its
पानी चल
own
रहा है कि नहीं
stories to tell, traditions and events. So they are inherited from the people of the past. The past still exists, even if it is in relics, but it is a past and it has value. So the improvement, how do we do that? We can say we have to save the heritage, but as Sir said, improve the public access and connection to heritage places through innovative interpretation is also required. So they should be easily accessible so more and more people come to see and they realize the importance. Understanding the significance and community values of heritage is early in the planning. So whenever we plan all these strategies for process, it provides the greatest opportunity for conservation and management. So we should do a strategic planning. We should do the monitoring of the plans. There should be a thought leadership. Now, since this topic has come up and so much pains are being taken, so we have faith in our leadership and they are doing utmost for that. And these things and collaboration, it should be collaborated with, as I said, with all other departments and archaeological surveys they are doing. So not survey only is not important. What we have to do, we have to really, really take pains. So Sharmishta, can I have, I've just made a small slide presentation for us to
Yes, ma'am.
understand. Can you please
Definitely.
show it? Yeah.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Now this environment and heritage as it's our topic. Next, please. Now Gandhiji has always said the earth, the air, the land, and the water are not inheritance from our forefathers, but a loan for our children. So we have to hand over to them at least as it was handed over to us. We should not corrupt it. The earth has enough resources for our needs, but not for our greed. Next, please. Gandhiji, he was ahead of his times. All the international conferences, such as the Stockholm Conferences of 72 or the Rio Earth Summit of 1992, were convened much later than the concerns raised by Gandhiji about the environment and its effects. Even in India, the major movements to protect environment, such as the Chipko movement led by Chandi Prasad Bhatt and Sundar Lal Bahuguna, and the Narmada Bachao Andolan by Baba Amte and Veda Patkar, derived all inspiration from Gandhiji. So such a move, such a we should have a drive. Those the people should be made aware what heritage really means to us. Next, please. As a matter of historical record, Gandhiji was acutely aware of the environmental pollution
और
and its consequences to human health. He was especially concerned about the appalling working conditions in the industry, with the workers forced to inhale contaminated toxic air. We have such diseases like psittacosis and all, sidrosis, all these are due to industries. So he expressed those concerns, Indian opinion on May 5, 1906, as early as that. Nowadays, there is an increasing appreciation among enlightened men of the need for open air. So if you think you are an enlightened person, you must take pains to conserve our heritage. Next, please. I need no inspiration other than nature's. She has never failed me as yet. She mystifies me, bewilders me, and sends me to ecstasies. This was Gandhiji. Really, if you take a walk down the nature lane, you will see how invigorating it is. Next, please. The concern of Gandhiji about the environment, urbanization, and mechanization was evident in his speeches, in his writings, and in his messages to the workers. It's apt to note that he was the world's early environmentalist, environmentalist in vision and practice. So now we have the natural heritage. Next, please. Natural. These are the natural heritage. The seas, the valleys, the mountains, the hills. Even if you just have a look at them online also, or you just visit them, these places fill you with so much of new energy, and you feel good. So that is what matters. What the earth has given us, we only have to we just accept it as it is, but we never admire it. So let's admire what the mother earth has given us, and we only have to preserve it. We don't have to take any other pains. Next, please. Now these India has a glorious past. There is a rich heritage of ancient monuments, right from south to north, from east to west. You see so many places. You have to see archaeological park in Pavangarh. Then you have to see Ajanta caves. You have to see Sachi Stoop. You just go to any place, and our country is such rich in heritage. Next, please. We have got all these. Red Fort is such a beauty to see. Sun Temple, Konark, and several historical structures which were built by our ancestors. Our Shivaji Maharaj built that. All those killas we have. Whenever we go to Maharashtra, we make it a point to visit the killas. Then Rajasthan, such a Amer Fort, and all those forts, they are all really a sight to see. Next, please. Now, the caves of Ajanta, as I said, there are 29 caves, 17 caves of Ellora, and 29 of Ajanta. And if you see how well the work done in so many of those caves, and these are the examples of harmony, as sir said, harmony between Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. So we should live in harmony, since our structures are also in harmony. So the Gol Gumbaj at Bijapur, Karnataka, it is one of the second largest dome in the world. So we should be proud of that. As long as that time, we have been doing so much. So many artisans must have gone into doing all this for us. So let's be let's be aware of their contribution. Next, please. There are magnificent places which are now converted into heritage hotels and museums. If you ever come to Gwalior, you must see our Jai Vilas Palace. It is really a heritage museum. And now our Madhvi, she has done a tremendous they have done constructions, and they have just restored the glory. So it is really worth seeing. Whenever you come, you can see all the glorious Maratha history is there, British history is there, and so many things to be seen. And really, so many people flock every day, and they are taking pains to preserve that. Next, please. The stupa at Sanchi it is a classical Buddhist architecture. It was built by Emperor Ashok, third century BC. Remember that, third century BC.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Sharmishta, can you please change?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, like, I'll just conclude that India has a glorious past, rich heritage of ancient cultures. We have temples, we have masjids, we have so many so many festivals: Ganesh Chaturthi, Eid, Holi, Raksha Bandhan, Pongal. This so you have to just look around, and you will see this heritage. Really, it is. We don't need to drive hard into anybody's psyche that you do it, because if you do it, really, you will have a glorious future also. We have had a glorious past. Now let's have a beautiful future too. So to conclude, next. The world, and in particular India, is facing harmful effects of urbanization, and Gandhiji envisioned decades back, he had predicted this will come. So, the application of Gandhian principles can stall the further progress of these effects. So, all we need is strategic planning, monitoring of those plans, and a thoughtful leadership and precincts and collaborating in all spheres. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a lovely presentation.
Thank you.
Uh, can I request Pandey sir? Can you throw some light on our topic, sir? Sir, your mic is muted. Your mic is muted, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
that's fine.
am I
Yes, sir.
audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Respected Professor Narayan, Dr. Shashibala Bhosle Sir, and Dr. Sarmishta, Dr. Chaudhary, I don't find him. Uh, we had a wide gamut of the heritage and richness in India, and how the environmental degradation is trying to endanger its preservation. Of course, what is the heritage? Our heritage is what we have inherited from the past, and we are valuing it and enjoying it in the present, and we have to preserve and pass it on to the future generation. Our cultural heritage consists of tangible as well as intangible things. We have historical sites, we have buildings, we have monuments, we have objects, we have museums, we have artifacts, we have archives, and intangibles also in terms of our values which have been handed over from generation to generation, our art, our spiritual richness. All this consists of wide gamut of what we have. Of course, India as a country is recognized globally for its rich cultural heritage. And though amongst the list of world cultural heritage prepared by UNESCO, there are some 40 sites from India included. The paper prepared by Niti Aayog says that in India, according to initial survey, there are about close to 4 lakh structures which have heritage value. So, the last that UNESCO included was in run of Kutch, the old Harappan city being called Dholavira. And of course, we are all familiar with Agra Fort, Ajanta Caves, Kaziranga National Park, Nalanda Mahavihar, Nalanda, Hampi, Mahabalipuram, Mahabodhi Temple, etc., etc. The list is pretty long. Now, what do we have as tool to preserve it? You know, the duty of preserving all these archaeological sites is on Archaeological Survey of India, and we have that act, Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958, which and there are so many tools of conservation through which it is done, like consolidation, reproduction, reconstruction, preservation, rehabilitation, and restoration. But just ASI, or for that matter, intact, are not enough, because the task is mammoth, and therefore we have to involve the local communities, we have to involve the private sector, we have to involve the archaeological professionals and other technical persons to tackle the mammoth work ahead of us. Uh, in 1982, International Council on Monuments and Sites, ICOMOS, established 18th April as International Day for Monuments and Sites, and it was followed by UNESCO adoption during 22nd General Assembly Conference. In 2020, ICOMOS declared cultural heritage and climate emergency, underlining the transformative and just climate action for safeguarding all types of cultural heritage from adverse climate impacts. In fact, there is one report, The Future of Our Pasts, and this report, it was published by ICOMOS in 2019, and it advocates for solidarity between heritage professionals like Professor Narayan and local communities which are most affected by climate changes. When we talk of environment and how environment or climate change is impacting our heritage, we may talk of certain sites in India, like rising sea levels. In 1987, UNESCO designated National Park, Sundarbans National Park in West Bengal, a World Heritage Site. This is world's largest mangrove forest, and it is home to Royal Bengal tiger and ecologically unique biodiversity. But it has now succumbed to climate upheavals, devastation which has been caused by 2009 cyclone called Aila in Kumira Mari Island, and subsequent uh, cyclones uh, which happened over the years, and it has left Sundarbans National Park gasping for life. Similarly, if we go to Elephanta Caves, there also climate change is erasing the chapter. Both, as we know, Gateway of India and Elephanta Caves, they derive huge tourist arrivals. But the latter one, that is Caves, is the part of UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites. Now, this rising sea level is posing a threat to the cave's structure, and the oil pollution and the plastic debris which is present in the Arabian Sea, it is choking the growth of mangrove, which is present in the vicinity of Elephanta caves, Elephanta Islands, rather. So, also we can, talk of Taj Mahal, where wrath of pollution and discoloration of the building is very much in sight. That is India's most romantic architectural landmark, and it has faced environmental threats. Severe air pollution has tinted the white marble yellow, and the water pollution in the river Yamuna is also staining the monument and its beauty. Of course, Supreme Court has come to the rescue, and based on the direction of Supreme Court, a lot of efforts have been taken to retain its luster and beauty and take preservation works seriously. But still, environmental impact is writ all around. Similarly, if we go to Goa, there you will find dampening dampening effect on old Goa's historical monuments because of increased precipitation and increased flooding, causing damage to old Goa's historical monuments like Basilica of Born Jesus in Panaji, or Safa Masjid in Ponda. Basilica walls remain dampened even during the dry season. And there is one Mahadev temple also of 11th century. This is in Tombadi, Surula, which is 50 kilometers away from the state capital. It also suffers from rising dampness. Hundreds of UNESCO World Heritage Sites are at risk. One has to engage with local communities, with private sector for management and development of these sites. Indian National Trust for Cultural Heritage, that is intact, has only recently undertaken good work in Jharkhand. In Dumka district, there is a village named Maluti, which has so many temples, terracotta temples. And Intac has done this preservation work, and we need to replicate such experiences everywhere. But till there is consciousness, there is awareness on the part of the communities that we have to safeguard it, we would not be able to achieve the desired result. So, therefore, we have not only to be aware of the value of these artifacts and historical sites and the natural sites. We have Saranda Forest, which is known for its green luster and teak. But there have been so many inroads into uh, the forest. So all this, we have Nanda Devi Peak, we have so many sites along the Himalayan regions, which because of this climate change are in a way uh, getting devastated. Therefore, It's a situation of emergency, and we have to rise to the occasion. All the professionals and the local communities, the public sector, the government, the private sector, and unified effort on emergency basis is the only answer to preserve and protect our rich cultural heritage. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We have one more speaker with us, Dr. Anil Kaur. She is a friend of Dr. Shashikala Bhosle. Ma'am, are you audible? Hello. She has requested that she is going to give a talk on this topic. Um, Bhosle, ma'am, am I audible to you? Hello. So till then, we can see the comments. We have live comments from our viewers. This one,
Okay.
Mr. Avinash Srivastava, so I will just show it to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Now I can see. No,
Yes, ma'am.
she just
Ma'am, we are
wanted to
waiting.
listen to. No, Dr.
Okay, fine.
Anil is from Hyderabad. She just wanted to live on bad network, she's saying. Next time we can
Okay,
include her. Yeah, yeah.
definitely, ma'am. Ma'am, these are the comments which we are receiving from our viewers. This is Mr. Avinash Srivastava studying nice analysis about Gandhi and his views about natural heritage, environment. We have one more talk is based on Gandhian thoughts and empirical analysis of modern habits. So uh, he is very keen, and he says that it is also known for its flora and fauna besides its culture and heritage. So we see the viewers are were very much interested in our topic, and anything, any other comments we are just expecting live from our viewers, the people who are watching on the YouTube and any other sorts of channel, those who are seeing that, we're just expecting some comments from you people.
Are we supposed to?
Uh,
Only two comments are there now.
Two to three, sir. Please say
Okay.
congratulations and all. And sir, can we sum up, sir?
Yes, yes, we can sum up, but the questions needs to be answered now. To whom it has been asked?
Uh,
It's a
no, he
general
just said
question or
nice analysis of the study about Gandhi's concept of natural heritage and environment. And he just gave a comment that it is also well known for its flora and fauna and its culture and heritage. It's just an appreciation, sir.
okay, okay, okay.
Thank you
Okay,
so
so
much,
it's
sir. Yes,
just an observation.
yes, sir. It's
So,
just an observation, sir. Sir, anything
okay.
else, sir? Any other point you people need to take up?
No, so okay. All the speakers have made their own view. So there,
Yes, sir.
the comments that has been made by the viewers is also of just a comment now. We need not
Yes, sir.
answer that questions.
Definitely, sir.
So if there is any specific question, then it needs to be answered.
Definitely, sir. So, Pandey,
So
sir, would
we
you
are,
like to pass? Yes, add on something, sir?
yes, not audible. It's not
Yeah.
audible.
Today's topic is very appropriate, and it touches everyone's
Hmm.
lives and is
Hmm.
appropriate to the people in general and to the professionals of the field in particular. And India, being one of the most ancient civilizations, has so many remains, so many archaeological sites which not only need to be protected, but the message needs to go on to the local communities that yes, we need not only to be proud of our rich cultural heritage, which defines us, which gives identity to us, but also, discharge our role in its protection and preservation. So once people are more aware of this, Of course, this is one of the duties enshrined in the Constitution, that we should preserve our cultural heritage and be more aware and be more proud of it, because that defines our present, and also this energy and this achievement flows into our future.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Our topic was really good, and we had diverse theories, ideas from all the speakers of you. First of all, definitely our chairperson, he spoke about the mythology, Vedas, Puranas, and how they appreciate and save our culture. And that's how we live in a very rich cultural heritage. And when we come down to ma'am, she's an expert, Gandhian expert, and the way she conveyed her knowledge and many things which we also did not know as a student, Gandhi's concept of saving nature, and therefore I think he's known as the father of the nation. Thank you much. Thank you, ma'am, so much. And definitely, sir, Pandey, sir, you explained us about the tangible and the non-tangible matter and how we can save our culture and heritage, because India is famous for its culture heritage, and that's how even we have the sites, the monuments, the what do you say, the historical sites which yet are visited and are protected and reconstructed by our government. Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, sir.
Thank, thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste, sir.